Welcome everybody who's tuning in to the virtual propane expo. This is Ignite with Tom. I'm Tom Clark, Rocky Mountain Propane Association Executive Director. I get the pleasure to interview people to ignite the conversation around propane. We talk to vendors, we talk to manufacturers, we talk to all sorts of people that support propane companies and propane industry. And it's a pleasure to have Sabrina Hauser from Capital CFO LLC. She is a big supporter of the oil and gas industry, bringing people a new outlook on the way to do your financial analyzing and financial support and bookkeeping, basically. So welcome, Sabrina, to the Ignite with Tom VPE session. Where are you at? You're in New
We
York
are
somewhere.
in Saratoga Springs, New York.
Saratoga Springs, New York. And Sabrina, you own, or you are the official owner, or you have partners with this business?
Nope, I am owner.
And this is Capital CFO, and you provide basically CFO services for people, small businesses, medium businesses, large businesses that are kind of on that tipping point of needing or wanting more help doing their bookkeeping, right?
That's exactly right. Yeah. So we help people to really build out their finance departments and get the expertise that they need. And most of our clients are able to do that part-time with us. Some are condensing a lot of really large positions and working with us for many hours a week, but most are working with us very part-time.
And you have quite a background. You worked for a nonprofit organization. Okay, and that's a huge group. Was this just like a small chapter, or?
Yeah, so I was part of two affiliates. I started in Greater Rochester and then I moved to the Capital region in 2005. So I was with the agency for about 20 years and I was their CEO and CFO my last 10 years there.
Okay, wow. So not to get off subject with the nonprofit side of things, but that is another area that the propane industry has lots of, because we have 35 state associations that are nonprofit. We have, each state has a propane education research foundation that would also be a nonprofit. And these are all small groups like the nonprofit that I work for. And we only have 2 employees. So it's super hard to be the guy trying to do everything and the books. So your company would be a huge help for us to provide some of that CFO style support.
Yeah, a lot of our clients we work with nonprofits and for-profit alike. So we work with businesses or non-for-profits. And actually in 2020, we expanded our nonprofit services to include nonprofit consulting that goes above and beyond the CFO work that we do. So we work with nonprofits on being interim CEOs. We'll do grant writing, management, and reports. We'll do board development, recruitment. So we really try and help CEOs, leaders, and board members kind of get a handle over the nonprofit and be able to outsource some of the stuff that it's really difficult to hire for.
Yeah, that is. And it's so expensive. I mean, you try to, by the time you get a CFO and you pay for all the extra stuff, because everybody knows, well, most business owners can understand this, but the average guy's like, I make X amount of money. What they don't realize is all the extra amount of money that goes in on top of just their salary. I mean, the taxes and the benefits and all
the payroll, the vacation,
health insurance. Yeah. It just piles up, and you're like, wow, these guys cost this business a lot of money, and they don't always understand. The employee doesn't always understand exactly how much money that the company puts out for them. So
exactly right.
Your bookkeeping service, though, I think would be big for a small propane company or a medium-sized propane company, because most of our propane guys started this business kind of on their own. They probably rounded up some money somewhere. They recruited some family to help them, and they're not bookkeepers. They're propane guys. They know their product. They know their customers. And you hear this all the time where guys have big outstanding accounts receivables. They can't keep up on their accounts payables because they they just don't have the help to do it. And then they're working all day long, and then they go back to the office and work all night long,
Yeah.
and you end up becoming a slave to your business, and you're not running your business is running you. And that's I feel like this service that you could provide for these guys could really help alleviate that and let people get back to living their life instead of
Well,
uh,
and that's actually our mission statement, is that we work in your business so that you can work on it, which is what a lot of business
nice. I like
owners,
that.
myself included, really struggle with, right? I remember when I first started my company, I too, even though that was my mission statement, I too was like, well, I need to figure it all out. I need to do it all myself. And it wasn't until I started working on marketing and I truly found myself Googling like how to set up a website or how to do
Yeah.
marketing for, a business that's just starting out, that I was like, what am I don't do marketing. What am I doing? There are people out there that do this that can certainly help me. And that's what really had me figure out kind of what our mission statement was for other businesses, is that you do try and do it all, but when you do that, you actually get yourself in a lot of trouble, because you're hiring people either that don't have the expertise, or you're trying to do it yourself, and you have of course, the best of intentions. You don't mean to be doing something wrong, but nobody's going to care about that. So yeah, you really have to figure out a lot of your key pain points in your business, like HR, your books, things that you didn't start this company to be a bookkeeper. We did, right? Like that's that's what I started my company for, but I don't know how to do what you do, so hire somebody else to do what you don't know.
Yeah, that's spot on. I mean, and if you're talking to a propane company and you want to help them, what do you normally tell them, like how many hours it would take, or how do you gauge like how much time do I need? Because obviously I don't need a full-time guy, or else I'd already probably have
You
one,
have a department,
or have
right?
a department. But
Right.
how do I get into this if I'm looking at exploring this idea? What would be some good signs that I need your help to grow my business? Is it something that I would look at that I'm not being profitable, or I'm spending too much time, or what do you think is like the number one reason why somebody would want to use this service?
There's a lot of telltale signs. So the majority of the time, clients will come to me totally mortified and embarrassed. My books are a mess. That's probably
Mm,
the first thing that they'll say to me. Most business owners don't actually know if they are profitable or if they have money. They know they have money in the bank, but they don't know what's going in and what's going
yeah.
out every single month. A lot of times people will come to me because they're ready to either purchase something, purchase equipment, purchase a building, and they don't have the financial statements to back that up.
Yeah.
PPP was another huge one. You had to supply financial statements to get a PPP loan. And although it was a loan, it was treated like a grant. So for a lot of people, there was a forgivable, unforgivable piece of it. And that it legitimately was run like a grant. Like you had to have the backup, you had to have the receipts, you had to have the payroll documentation. So all of that were reasons that people really started to come to us, because they realized they didn't have their house in order.
Right.
Another pain point is people will say like, I probably can do it, but it's taking them
Time
so much
consuming.
time because this isn't what they do. Whereas we can come in and we can do it pretty efficiently and effectively. So our first step is we take a peek at your financials, we take a peek at your accounting software. If you don't have accounting software, we set you up with accounting software so we can easily pull reports for you. And then we do two estimates. We do a cleanup estimate if we feel that there is any cleanup that needs to be done to get you caught up. And then we do a monthly maintenance estimate. We're completely customizable, so you can choose one or the other. Some people, don't want us to do monthly maintenance and just want us to get them caught up, and then they feel like they can turn it over to somebody else once it's clean. We can do that too. Some people like to keep certain things in-house and outsource others. So we really work with the client to figure out what their needs are and how many hours that takes.
You're kind of like the maid. You're kind of the house cleaner, right? Don't be afraid. The first time you hire a maid, you kind of run around and clean things
Clean up
up
your
and
house.
dust a little bit. You're like,
Yep.
what are you doing? I'm cleaning the
Yep.
house because the maids are coming. You don't have to be embarrassed about having books
You
that aren't,
don't.
but you're here. There's a service out here that can help you. And I think this is fantastic. I worked for my father for 25 years, and it was it was an experience that I would I would never want anybody else to have to go through. But what I found was, the family was doing the books, and it was like nobody could ever go on vacation. It's like, oh, I got payroll I have to do, or this somebody has to do this, or somebody has to do that. It's like constantly, it's like trying to schedule vacations and trying to find people to do those things that you should be doing. And then the worst part is these family members that are doing this work aren't really, that's not their forte. That's not what they're good at. They're good at running the family business of running some propane stuff, and that's what they were all good at. And it was really interesting when my father hired other people to do those jobs, of how well his business grew and took off. So if the other thing is, when you're trying to sell your business, and I went through this with my father as
Oh,
well,
yeah.
we tried to sell the business multiple times, and it was like, man, you got all this accounting stuff that's maybe not all that great, because you've been using people that don't really, that's not their thing. They aren't really good at it.
Yeah,
So if you're thinking, and propane is big at acquisitions, right? Everybody wants to sell their propane business sometime. You need an exit strategy. And if you clean up your books and you have a professional bookkeeper doing this for you all the time, you'll get a lot more value out of it when you go to sell it, and you won't be trying to backtrack and figure out, is this thing even actually make any money?
correct.
So,
That
so
is 100% correct.
yeah. So have you dealt with acquisitions before, and how much time that actually takes to get
Yeah,
things
we
back in
have
line?
some CFOs that have done M&As with us. We work with, we really partner with your team on that. So we partner with lawyers, we partner with CPAs, with ourselves, with people that do value propositions. So we really try and work together and as a team. But our role is definitely making sure that the financials are set and clean, where you can really hand over a set of books so that people can start to run some of the numbers
And you can hire you to do this weekly, and you charge
monthly.
monthly.
Yeah,
It's like
or
a menu,
project based.
a project base. It's a menu
Mhm.
of things you can pick and choose from. Save some money, save some time, get a real professional. You have a whole team of people. This is not just you. I mean,
We do. We
you're
have a
doing the things that
fantastic
you
team.
need to do, right?
Right.
You're doing the important
I have
things that these
somebody else
other
doing
guys
my
should be
book.
doing.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So you have what, almost 18 people, or you have 18
Yeah.
people?
Yeah. We have about
That's a
18 people on staff.
it's a big firm.
Oh, thanks. It doesn't, we're still so brand new. But we did grow pretty rapidly. So it happened really quickly. It gets a little panicky sometimes.
Yeah, the growing pains. I know all about
Yeah.
that. It's you've got to keep the pipeline full of things coming in, and you got to keep growing and keep staying strong. And
Mhm.
hopefully there's some propane guys that are going to listen to this and say, I could use something like that. And you're available around the country. You're remote,
Yeah.
you work remote. I mean, we're doing this right now. I'm here in Ogden, Utah. You're all the way in New York.
Yeah.
You're picking your kids up, and mine just left from lunch. I mean, this is how great this world is, right?
Oh, it
Zoom,
is quite
zooming
the
from
world
your
we are
car.
living through right now. Yeah, but we do. Thank you for bringing that up. So, yeah, we have clients all over the country. We have clients in California. We randomly got one in Alaska the other day. We have clients in Washington State, Washington, D.C., and then very randomly, we have a client in London. So now we can say we're international, which was huge for me. I remember when that happened, my husband was like, "Oh, Capital CFO, International LLC." And I was like, "That's it. That's what we are now." So yeah, we can really
Nice.
work with anyone, anywhere.
Well, that says it all right there. If you need some help, everything can be done online. You don't need to have the office space. You don't need to have the computer. You don't need to have the person. You don't need to have the liability that goes along with that.
Yep.
And you have that second set of eyes, because everywhere you look at in the news, there's always some type of fraud case that pops up here or there. You don't have to look far for it. And a second set of eyes going through your books is going to be a pretty valuable security thing for your business as well.
Well, Tom, I would even say that there's a third set of eyes, because the one service that we don't offer, and I did this intentionally, is we don't do taxes. So I have somebody independently that reviews all of our books. So we partner with your tax preparer, tax consultant, or CPA. If you don't have one, we recommend partners, but I want somebody else from the outside doing the final review independently of the work that we've done.
Good point. So you also have your tax preparer, and a lot of people think
Correct.
that my tax preparer is my bookkeeper, and sometimes they think that, but the tax preparer doesn't want to do any of that kind of stuff.
Well,
They
not
see,
only that, but then you only know one time a year what's actually
yeah,
happening with your business, and that's just not the
too
way to
late.
run it,
It's
and
too
too
late.
late.
Yeah.
Correct.
You also have some personal services that you can provide for these guys as well, which would be great. You told me earlier about your budget fetish. Is that what you called it?
I don't think I called it a fetish. I think
You're
I called it a love, an
Oh,
inappropriate love
so
of a budget.
some people, love propane. We say propane smells like money. You love budgets.
I love a budget. I love a budget. I do. I love my Excel sheet budget. I think I told you the story about how sometimes I wake up at night just to like pet it and look at it. I
Oh, that's where the
love
fetish.
my
That's where,
budget.
yeah, that's where
Yeah,
I came up with that one. Yeah.
I
Well,
do.
that's
I love it, love
important.
it, love it.
Budgets are important. And if you're running a business and you're trying to figure out how to make money, how to how to save money, how to spend your money, you got to have a budget, because
A 100%.
if you're not following a budget, you find yourself getting lost in just chasing things around, and your business is running you and you're not running your business. So,
Yep.
well, how do we get a hold of you? If there's somebody watching this, it's like, this is cool, I want to learn more. We got your capital CFO LLC.com is
That's
your
my
website.
website.
You're the official spokesperson, salesperson for the company.
Yep. I'm the
Sabrina
owner.
Sabrina
Yep.
at Capital CFO LLC.com. They can reach you, and you will help somebody really enjoy life and own a business at the same time. Thank you for letting us interview you, and hopefully somebody learned something cool today and your phone blows up.
Thank you so much. Thanks, everybody. If you do have questions, let me know. Thanks, Tom. And thanks,
Sure.
MR.
Bye.